college soccer on ESPN, as tonight a pair of East Region powers square off here at Lessing Field as Princeton travels up to Connecticut to take on Fairfield. Hey everybody, welcome inside Lessing Field alongside Allie Auger. I'm JJ Duke. Allie, both of these teams in an interesting position right now. Fairfield coming off of a very strong win against Iona this weekend. Princeton, right before Ivy play, they dropped to Georgetown. Both teams trying to get something out of this before their league campaign begins.
Yeah, JJ, as you mentioned, this is Princeton's last matchup before Ivy League play, and coming off that loss, they really want to approach this with high intensity, especially against a Fairfield team who has won their last 4 games.
That they have in their high scoring as well. But for Princeton, they have an outstanding facilitator in Heather McNabb.
Heather McNabb, a senior leader who has taken the field in over 60 matches, is undoubtedly a key player facilitating this offense, recording a couple assists against Drexel in their 2-1 win.
And also a couple of times all Ivy honors as well. Really can hit a great dead ball delivery. Someone, though, that can really get things going for Fairfield in the midfield, Reagan Klarman.
Yeah, Reagan had an outstanding performance this past weekend, tying the program record for most assists in a game. With this matchup being won in the midfield, she will be critical to Fairfield's success tonight.
Yeah, with those 3 assists, Klarman now up to 14 assists in her career. And how about this? This set the tone, and brilliant through ball to unlock Elle Scott for the early tally against Iona. Starting lineups and opening kick next on ESPN+. As the 6-1 Fairfield Stags take on the 4-2 Princeton University Tigers. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams. First, for the visiting squad, Princeton under the direction of head coach Sean Driscoll, 97 career victories to his name, changing things up a little bit, going to a 4-3-3 tonight, as opposed to the 4-4-2 that they operated against in the 1-0 loss to Georgetown on Sunday. That front line, by the way, of Drew Kumins, as well as Alexandra Berry and Dylan Jovanovic. Missing one key piece, Pietra Torden, still playing in the Under-20 Women's World Cup semifinal match tonight for the U.S. as they take on Korea DPR. Fairfield on the other side making just one change from that impressive 7-1 victory against Iona. They gave Katie Wright in goal the day off. It was Lindsay Dewar that got the start that evening. Now right back in, Fairfield operating with a 4-2-3-1. Let's take a look at the all-time series between both of these teams. This is a return match from a couple of years ago when Fairfield traveled down to Princeton. It was a 2-0 victory for the Tigers. Fairfield, though, still yet to score in this all-time series, as this is the 6th meeting between these two teams. Allie, though, in this matchup, it's funny how form can always dictate something. Fairfield, if there's ever a team that feels confident to get on the board and really give a team that's always amongst the nation's best every year a run for their money, it's probably tonight.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the momentum of those last 4 games. They're coming in with a lot of confidence, which is key here, and I think Princeton's going to have some difficulties.
We're underway. Fairfield in the red jerseys tonight, going from left to right on your screen. Princeton in the white jerseys. Fairfield, this is their 5th and final match of this homestand before they travel to Niagara come on the weekend. But during this homestand, Fairfield have outscored their opponents 21-4. So when you talk about one of the nation's best goal-scoring teams, you're looking no further than the team wearing red, averaging close to 3.5 goals per game. However, with Princeton, you always know that you're going to get something every time you see them on the field. Last year, 10 wins, 5 losses, 4 draws. Finished second in the Ivy regular season. Lost in the first ever Ivy tournament semifinal, as all the fall sports now have the postseason tournament to determine the automatic qualifier spot. But they got to the second round in Princeton after knocking off Michigan and then falling to Texas Tech on penalties. Elle Scott, her first touch, drifting a little bit deeper on this right side. We saw Elle really show out in the last couple of games. The grad student from Ashby, Mass. had a goal and 2 assists against Iona, had an assist against Ryder. And a player that was hampered at the beginning of the season with some injuries, she brings so much pace down this right side. It's really going to be a battle for her with Heather McNabb.
Definitely, we see Princeton really just trying to control the ball in the back and work their way up through the lines.
That was Zoe Marcassini, another one of the players for Princeton that was playing for their country at the Under-20 Women's World Cup. Zoe playing for Canada, 4 appearances, also scored a goal in the tournament. The ball in the middle. So this gets knocked all the way to this near side. Good covering by Sammy Erickson, dispossessing Lily Bryant, and it's cleared away to the feet of Alex Darcy, who tries to roll Marcassini. But watching Zoe play, you can understand why she's represented her country at both the under-17 and under-20 level, because she's so smooth with the ball and just absolutely ruthless when she's got to defend.
Yeah, and it's not just her technique, her tactics and her mindset going into the game is critical, and she definitely takes control of her opponents and makes them work.
And really, the way that Sean Driscoll's operated tonight, he is putting some of his best defenders on the same side as Fairfield, where they like to get down and play, and that's out wide, where Marcassini will be operating on the side that Elle Scott is, and then I believe Brooke Dawhare is operating on the right flank, and that's going to be trying to cut down Reagan Klarman and Maddie Therial. And also Kylie Hamu. It is Hamu that has just moved over to that right outside back position. That's where she's going to be operating. McNabb with the interceptions goes back to the feet of Dawhare. Now Kayla Wong intercepted well though by Reagan Klarman, has players to both sides of her. Klarman might think about it, has a shot from distance, but it's an early warning sign though from Fairfield.
Definitely, I think Fairfield also, when those opportunities come, they just have to make sure that they're staying on sides and they're doing those little things so that when a ball does slip through, the last thing they want is for it to get called back.
Reagan Klarman, the senior, one of the captains from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. Game number 66. She has started every game that she has played in a Fairfield uniform. There's Tyler McCamey, senior, in goal with a goals against at .67, but her save percentage is close to 89 this year.
And I think too, after just seeing her kind of kick it out of the back, her distribution is also a key component to her game. She's able to spray it out mid-range long balls, which is crucial.
Oh, it was really fun to watch her operate against Georgetown on Sunday because she plays with the mindset like a professional. Get ball, distribute. It's not waiting around and letting your team get up the field. And that's a tempo that Fairfield got accustomed to a little bit last month when they went down to Texas A&M. Princeton, they play at a similar style that you see with the Power Conference. You've played against Princeton before as you were the goalkeeper for Georgetown. This is a team that will keep it on the ground and let the ball do the work.
Yeah, and they find their moments to attack and when to sit back, when to play with it, when to counter, and so they can really change it up. And now Fairfield has a run at it.
It's Caroline Kelly out wide as 3 players into the box. Not a bad area looking for Sam Kersey. That's headed away, though, by Marcassini. Marcassini out of Markham, Ontario, Canada. 18 matches, just 13 starts, though, last season. As Kelly takes the throw in short towards Klarman. When these two teams met back a couple of seasons ago down in central New Jersey, it very much was backs to the wall defending for Fairfield. They did have a couple of moments, but it was really just Princeton peppering them with shots. In fact, outshot Fairfield 21-3 in that match.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's kind of what Coach Sean Driscoll wants out of their team tonight, too, especially coming off of that loss. But it's going to be difficult against this Fairfield team, and I think it's 2 completely different teams battling tonight compared to the last time.
It's cliche, but confidence plays a big part in really not only just this sport, but any sport in general. When you're on a run of form, you almost go into every match feeling like you're unbeatable at times. And Fairfield, even during this run, they've gone behind in matches and they've played a couple of league matches and have gone behind or have conceded right after scoring. So they come into this feeling not invincible by any stretch, but you can see in these first 6-7 minutes, they're pressing high. They're doing something that Princeton, frankly, they want to be doing.
Yeah, certainly. And I think too, with Fairfield's previous outcomes in their games, they've proven to themselves that they can win at all costs and at any cost. And if they're down, they're going to fight until they come back to hopefully win the game or tie it. And that's critical in the game of soccer because anything can happen at any given moment.
Megan Carragher looking to link up with Erickson, but that's intercepted. Now Dylan Jovanovic played at the feet of Lily Bryant. Now with Brooke Dahlhair, the freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. Going through all the bios of all the first-year players for Coach Driscoll, every one of them, Top Drawer Soccer 3 or 4-star recruit. This is a program that he has built over the last decade to become regulars, to play the best and beat the best. They've reached the quarterfinals of the NCAA Tournament back in 2017, regularly getting to the second round or pushing maybe even further. A little bit before Coach Driscoll did take over, Princeton were in the College Cup back in 2004. For those that are a bit of soccer junkies, who's the player on that team that has gone on to do great things both in and out of the game? Diana Matheson, captain of Canada for many, many years. Katie Wright will set things up. Now, this is going to be really interesting to watch how Princeton counterpresses. This is the first time that they've really had a chance to get anybody up the field. And it works out nicely as an interception. There's 3 players inside the box to aim for. This one is too tall and will be out for a goal kick.
Princeton's almost baiting Fairfield. They want Fairfield to play that short ball to the side in order to kind of trap it towards that end line. And you'll see the entire team shift over. And that's the second interception now for Princeton.
Chance now for Jovanovic trying to go end line. Erickson. Oh, that's really well done defensively there.
Yeah, a little bit of a heavy touch, but great job defensively to get the body in front of that Princeton player.
Megan Carragher, the junior captain, linking up well with Erickson. And you can see now Wright just going to ask for her team to get up the field. As a goalkeeper, when do you read that time? When do you assess and say, no, we need to stay to our principles, or just say, take a breath, get up the field?
I think it changes and it differs. I mean, when you're playing and you're under pressure and you know, in Fairfield's case, you had 2 interceptions, it's better to just kind of reset, get up the field as far as possible, get our shape back, and go from there.
It's a weighted ball down the right flank. This should stay on. Well defended. Caroline Kelly sliding tackle. It is a corner to come, though. Also, a Princeton player. Ooh, that's a bit of an awkward one for Drew Coomans. Tangled up in the netting. This is down back at Roberts Stadium. You'd be going into a wall over there instead of just the netting. But that's lovely defending by the grad student captain for Fairfield. Truman seems to be all right. Junior forward from Long Beach, California. Set piece to come, and this is where Heather McNabb makes things work. Had the couple of assists in the victory against Drexel over a week ago. Near post ball is headed away. Will fall to the feet of Barry. Sliced that one. It's going to stay on, however, and Fairfield able to clear their lines.
That was a great ball near post. Drew that goalkeeper out of position. Had that second shot been on frame, it could have been a goal.
Alexandra Barry got that one timed up perfectly. This could have been near unsavable. Just was falling away at the last moment. Freshman from Saddle River, New Jersey, as Fairfield will play a little bit over the top here, and Princeton will certainly have that. As after Fairfield were dictating the first 5 minutes of this match, the Tigers, who are currently ranked 6th in the East region by the United Soccer Coaches Poll, starting to gain the upper hand. That's well cushioned down by Dahlhair. Long distance effort, well held though. That was by Lily Bryant.
Yeah, and once again we see Wright pushing Fairfield up the field, just trying to release that pressure that they've been experiencing the past 5 or so minutes.
Yeah, really, Dahlhair has come into her own in the middle of the park, linking up well with Bryant. Sam Kersey, bit of keepy ups, but puts that one straight into touch. Princeton averaging just under 5 shots on target per match. Started the season with a win at home against Miami of Florida, then knocked off Seton Hall rather emphatically 3-1. Their only loss is just by the narrow 1-0 margin at home to Penn State on September the 5th, and then this past weekend. This is only, though, their second away match this season. Their previous one was against William & Mary back on September the 8th, winning 2-0. But again, that was one of those where they were able to establish the way that they want to play in their high counter press, and they are pretty comfortable in that one. As Sammy Erickson will have to play that away, it is going to be for a corner. And once again, this will allow McNabb to trot forward. Good covering by Erickson out of Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. Had an assist in that 7-1 victory over Iona on the weekend. To the penalty spot it goes. Flicked on header is cleared away, but there was a whistle before that. And it'll be a free kick for the Stags.
Right, taking your time with this, it allows Princeton to drop off, but it also allows Fairfield to get out of their own box. When you see this replay on that corner, a little foul there, Fairfield player going down.
Yeah, not much in that Barry with the push. But that's what you want your target strikers, just to go and hunt. Princeton are a team that will live on set pieces, and that's been a little bit of a flaw for Fairfield this season. They've given up their fair share of free kick goals.
Princeton playing pretty direct right now, even if, an up back through or just one time over the top, trying to get those runners on the backside of Fairfield players.
It leads to an overload now. Jovanovic has an option off to her left, goes that way, but Erickson once again diligent in her recovery and draws another free kick. It's just so quick how things can change in terms of the standards. And you know that Coach Driscoll, he was looking for a response. He was okay with their performance against Georgetown, but said that they never really got into the systems that they wanted. They're still dealing with having the right personnel available. But he did note this. This is their last match before league play begins, which is next Saturday at Cornell. So he is truly treating this game. He didn't say like an Ivy game. He said like this is a postseason game. He wanted energy to start from the moment go. Took a minute or two, but they've gotten into it. There's Ryan Brown. He's another player that I really enjoyed watching on Sunday. She's just a player that, first off, didn't see the field at all last year due to injury, but was a second-team Ivy selection the year before. Absolutely ruthless in her marking, but she likes to get forward as a center back.
Jovanovic on the ball there, trying to find kind of a give and go.
This is going to work out as the flag stays down for Maddie Ferrialt. Trying to drag that through, looking for Alex Darcy, but there is Brown, who was about a good 15 yards further up the field. Likes to join the play as a center back, but again, does well to recover.
Yeah, she's really great with back to goal, being able to drop step back there and get back into the position she needs to, even when she is playing a little bit of a higher line.
At the 15-minute mark, Princeton leading in shots by 1. Fairfield had the run of play for the first 6 minutes of the match, basically playing in the half off to our right, and then Princeton have been on top since. Bit of a heavy touch, but Jovanovic comes away with it, plays one into the channel, flag stays down. It's an opportunity. Koumans into the box, squares it across, but no one was there. That's a little bit surprising from Drew because this is a player that had 5 assists last season, knows basically kind of as a mirror image of McNabb, but on the right side of the field. She had a chance to bring that one down and wait for options. Jovanovic, another ball. Oh, this time the flag does come up a little late there, but it is offside.
That was a great run through, ball driven. Had she stayed on side, it would have been perfect placement. She would have been in on goal.
So if you're Fairfield right now, starting to see the gaps open up a bit in that back line. This is where Kelly and Carragher, they've got to be on their marks in communication.
Yeah, those horizontal lines, right? They have to stay tight just as much as vertical, right? Your defense, your midfield to your forwards, it has to be compact when they're defending, and then they can start to spread the field as they start to attack.
It's a credit to what Princeton are doing because they're finding overloads even centrally at times, which is not an easy thing. But the work that Lily Bryan is doing right underneath Alexandra Berry, wears 27, they're pulling some of the Fairfield center backs. An awkward slip leads to a chance now for Jovanovic. Gets it through to Wong. That was cut down. But Fairfield again able to clear their lines only just. And it'll be a throw. Now at the same time for Maddie Fairfield, 10 in red, as you'll see this last defensive move for Fairfield, good covering. Fairfield has to be patient. She's already played against good opposition, Texas A&M, where she was basically a scouted and marked player for 90 minutes. Knows that she might not have a lot of opportunities, but just can't get sucked into really playing deep in the field because then that takes away any release. She has to wait for her moments. That's too easy, though. Breaking out of the back for Princeton is Dawhair to the feet now of Barry. Under hit, though. Erickson to recover.
You know, Princeton's doing a really great job finding that split ball in the midfield, but can they keep it there just a little bit longer? Can they play in their triangles within the midfield and then find that through ball? I feel like they're playing a little bit too direct right now. Sometimes they're having the opportunities, and sometimes they're not there, and it feels forced.
And that's almost a little counterproductive of what Princeton usually tend to do. Now, they do play channels and direct at times, but it's not just, as you said, forcing it. They know when they have speed to use it. You are right. They are being a little bit predictable, but as I say that, it's effective. Just that one or two final moments that aren't going their way. As Ryan Brown again will play 1 and 2 with Marcassini. Now looking for that big ball to Drew Koomans. Just not getting there. Nice drop of the shoulder to Wong. Barry. Jovanovic over the top. Or excuse me, yeah, looking for Jovanovic. Well cut out, though, by Erickson. Over the top, intercepted. McNabb. Good working back for Heather, a player that really we see more getting forward, but will do the job defensively.
McNabb has had a couple of those defensive plays where she gets the first touch and then she keeps following it, and that saves Princeton from having a Fairfield throw-in. So that running that extra mile, doing that extra little bit has saved Princeton from a couple what could be threats.
Through ball is going to work out here. That one just played across to a wide open Koeman. Squares it across. Needed tackle, and the next shot comes off. Oh, actually, that was put behind by a Fairfield defender. I thought that one went straight off the post. Boy, Koeman's once again a little hesitant that time after rushing it in a sequence earlier. And that was cleared off the line by Kelly.
Yeah, a little bit of loose defending there for Fairfield inside the box, but they dropped back to the line when necessary and made a goal line save.
Yeah, Lily Bryant denied. I thought that Koemans was going to have that one, but the right option to square it back to Barry. Cross that goes all the way through. Jovanovic in the corner. Darcy dispossesses her, but it's out for a throw. 21st minute scoreless, but Fairfield right now on the back heels just a little bit. Just having one saved off the line by Caroline Kelly. Once again, Marcassini will reset from the back. Wong, McCuman's a heavy touch, and now Fairfield might look to break here, but Darcy had no options. Now finds the feet of Reagan Klarman. Looks to play it over the top, and that was rushed there. Kind of a odd miscue from Reagan, usually so smooth operating the midfield. Had shorter passes. Another ball over the top, and that's comfortable for Marcassini, but Sam Kersey comes onto it, but it just seems that this final product for Fairfield, square balls or just midfield to forward, it's not been on. Flag will come up on Barry.
If Barry can just hold her line a little bit longer, make more of a diagonal run so that through ball can be played a little bit faster and to her feet, and that avoids that offsides call.
You see it here. Even from that angle, actually, that was a lot closer. Fairfield probably would have liked it. On the Stags side, talk about how it just feels like at times they're rushing when they're in possession these last 10 minutes or so. This is really where you do need that calm level head to pull everyone back in.
Yeah, especially at times I think Princeton's allowing them to play. They want Fairfield to play instead of just kind of doing a long ball in. And Fairfield needs to take time, look up, see what Princeton's doing, and play around that.
That's world-class defending from Marcassini, not giving Fairfield much to work with. And I know the directive right now from Fairfield is when you look to hit on the counter, hit quickly. Even sometimes maybe just changing up the looks. Opinion, of course, but maybe having Darcy look to play for feet as opposed to go over the head, because we've seen Marcassini and Brown, they're comfortable with the ball over the top. As you said, almost inviting Fairfield to hit that long ball. Good recovery by Kersey. And this should be a free kick. Yeah, it is. Dangerous play with the player on the ground. Foul on Dahlhair. Carragher going to play quickly. That's going to go out for a throw. Good defending there from Sam Kersey. And yeah, you fortunately cannot play the ball while you're on the ground like that with players around you. Not going to harm the Tigers all that much.
But great hustle by Dahlhair and not a bad free kick to give up. You're on, Fairfield's side of the half. It's not as dangerous of a threat.
Yeah, and Fairfield again, a bit over ambitious on the restart. Carragher, better that time to Theriot. Again, looking for the channel. Keeper stays home. Scott might have a chance to reach this one. That's a foul, though. Elle Scott going right through the back, from the outside back. But that is where Fairfield can get something out of it if they can try and hit that really early ball to Elle Scott. Easier said than done, but a player that has outstanding pace, a player that over the weekend registered her 20th career assist, only just one off, tying Gabby Diodani for 6th most in program history. Diodani, one of those players that was part of the team that reached the MAC final in 2019. Fairfield got to the MAC championship game last year as well. Erickson caught out of position. A chance now for Princeton. Jovanovic had that just caught up for a second, though. He's going to stop her run. Round the corner, though, to McNabb. Players in the area. Hit towards Barry. It's cleared away well. And now Scott again looking to play quickly, but that's, again, it's rushed.
I think there's a time and place for that ball, and Fairfield just has to figure out when that time is, because right now, every time they look up, that's the ball that they're playing. When they do have options, they have a 6 that's sitting under that can play through.
Marcassini once again. McNabb temporarily going a bit more central. Fairfield haven't had to do this a lot over their 4-match winning streak. The closest result that they've had was the first of these 4 consecutive home matches. That was back on August the 29th, a 4-2 victory over Bryant. A match where Bryant scored inside the first 10 minutes, but Fairfield were able to respond. This is scooped over the top, headed away. Not out of danger. That was by Kendall Patton. McNabb playing it through the lines, but again, the offside flag comes up. Now we flip this on this side of Princeton here. The play is really appealing on the eye, but it's too many times now that Jovanovic has been caught just a little ahead of the last defender.
Yeah, it's a question of, do those runs hold up, or is it a problem with the pass? Is it coming in too slow? Can they play that in a one-touch ball through?
Yeah, it's one of those now where it's 2, 3, 4 times. If it is the latter ball that's a little bit slower, but you should, especially if you're Jovanovic, probably look across the line to see where your starting position of the back four is. Try and play off them a little bit. Klarman dropping the shoulder there. Scott down the line, covered up though. Albeit only just for a moment, is Elle able to win that back, has a couple players into the area, squares it back. This is Kersey, it's headed away. Ooh, Sam Kersey open with acres of space. And if it wasn't for the defending Princeton center backs, certainly on goal there. Yeah, Elle Scott doing so well to take that ball off two defenders, and it was Marcassini, albeit well positioned, but had to just block that away. And now Fairfield back on the ascendancy. Scott now with Caroline Kelly. This looking for Theriault, covered by McCamey.
Yeah, you saw McCamey kind of pump fake it. She wants to play fast. She wants to get that ball out of the box. Can they counter with her throw? It was a huge part of her game against Georgetown, and she wants to bring it into this game, but Fairfield is keeping their line a little bit higher and not giving her that counterattack.
Well, McCamey was huge in that match against Georgetown, albeit after they went down 1-0, giving up a penalty the last 10 minutes of the first half. She had this sequence in the first 10 minutes of the second half where she made 3 saves in short order off of a run of 5 corner kicks. Chance now. That shot is held. Barry tried to catch Wright napping at the near post, but the Fairfield shot stopper holding it. Katie Wright square to that ball. Theriault. See, that's better from her. Much better just playing it short, and now can open up some space for herself. Sure, it's covered away, but it's just those little wrinkles that Fairfield haven't shown in the first half hour.
And it takes time. They're assessing the game.
Yep.
You know, we still have 15 minutes left of this first half. They're just trying to get a grip of the surface, the night, the opponent, and they're slowly starting to play the way that they have been playing for the last 4 games.
Most certainly is a new challenge. Nice step by Klarman. Has an option with Scott once again, will go that way. Elle looking up to take her defender on 1v1 to the end line with Darcy across. Scott, once again, able to keep that on. Really well done there. That cross blocked down. Fairfield have their first corner.
Scott doing a really great job on that left flank, just trying to create opportunities, whether that's a ball drive through the box across the face of the goal or getting a corner like she just did.
It'll be Kendall Patton to trot over to take this. Really interesting this, by the way. Kendall Patton, the Cornell transfer, grad transfer, scored a goal last season. The only tally she had, it was against Princeton. Also, ironically enough, the only game in the Ivy last year she didn't start, but a chance to do one over against her former Ivy rivals. This played in, looking for Scott, a little flicked on header. So stay on for Carragher, also a player that can hit a really good set piece. Skips past one. Carragher floating it to McCamey and has to play it over. It's going to be out for a corner. Oh, they're going to claim that straight out. Interesting there.
It looks like, let's see if she got a touch on it. It looked like McCamey got a little something on it.
Oh, yeah, you could see that right off the hands. Well, the ironic one where the keeper would want the save, but will happily take the goal kick not to concede a corner. That's a slip, though. Theriault able to recover. Little 1-2 is going to come off. Fairfield plays it across into a good area looking for Kersey. Darcy out wide. Scott onto the left foot. It's just over. Much better from Fairfield over the last 2-3 minutes.
Darcy's going to want that one back as she is leaving the field, just to get it on frame. You'll see she's just leaning back a little bit too much, and it goes right over the frame.
Fairfield already, we're talking about comparison from 2 years ago to now. More shots in the first 32 minutes of this match than they had in their previous contest against Princeton. You see Darcy and Scott come off for Fairfield. Ashlyn Walsh, impact sub that Fairfield have been using, already with 4 goals, 2 assists on the season, has scored a couple of game winners. Those are in the first 2 matches of her collegiate career against Holy Cross and Central Connecticut State. The other change is Emily Cook, and talk about versatility for Emily Cook. Where's number 2 for Fairfield? A forward by trade, has played right back mostly this year, has gotten a couple of moments up front. She's now in center mid. Find a way to keep yourself on the field. Play every position. You know what, Emily, I expect you in goal maybe in a match or 2 from now. Now she moves up front. At least that was only just temporary, but great pace for the former Georgia Bulldog. Also, Allie Murphy came on. There's a handful of substitutions for Princeton. Allie Murphy is on. Isabella Garces and Kate Toomey all on for Barry Jovanovic and Kuman. So that's 3 forwards for 3 forwards. Toomey not able to link up with Garces, sophomore from Rhode Island. McNabb. Well tackled by Cook. And now Kersey can look for that long, angular ball intended for Walsh, but McCamey well off of her line to clear.
I know McNabb just recently got that ball stripped, but it doesn't attest to what she had done before. I mean, she was touching the ball 8 to 10 times in that sequence. She was giving the ball and getting the ball, giving the ball and getting the ball. A true testament of what she can do, both on the defensive end and the offensive end.
Well, it's a player that most certainly will be getting the eyes at the professional level, either the NWSL or the USL Super League. Princeton, a team that saw Madison Curry, who graduated last year, now playing for Angel City in the NWSL. So this is a team that certainly can produce top quality players. Not too long ago, Tyler Lucy, one of the top draft picks. Of course, that's a element in the NWSL that's no longer around, the college draft. That ball is cleared, but it'll find a Fairfield player. Heavy touch for Kelly, but recovers to find Allie Kirby. Kirby, one of the grad students, hanging for one more year with Fairfield. It was a group of 5 players that started back in 2020, came together after the conclusion of last year, said we want one more go and are going to do it as a group. Kersey. 4 goals did Sam have last year, a goal and 2 assists this season. They certainly had to ride the wave, did Fairfield, in the middle portion of this first half, but they've gotten themselves back into this.
Fairfield starting to string together a few passes.
As it's a chance now, sorry, Theriol.
Yeah, Theriol with a chance.
But you're right, yeah, they are starting to get it to string it together, playing a little bit more comfortably now they got it out of that first wave of Princeton going forward. Kelly down the line, but missing her mark. It's funny that you brought up the fact, it was a little while ago, about how Princeton, they're trying to not only leave it all out there, but also really empty the tank. They're not going to play again until next Saturday when they play Cornell. So you can really have players go flying until they need to get taken out. Nice block. Still could be on, though, but Katie Wright comes out, and Caroline Kelly once again getting stuck in.
Good on Wright for coming out for that. She just ends the play right there, not giving Princeton any more momentum moving forward.
On the opposite side, while Princeton are going to have a week and a half off Fairfield, this is a string of matches, 3 games in 8 days. They go to Niagara on Saturday, which is going to be a key match in MAC conference play. As Marcassini has to concede that, and it'll be a change for both teams. Donna Nada will come in for Fairfield. She replaces Sam Kersey. Kayla Wong exits for Princeton. And entering for her is Pia Bollier, the junior from Boca Raton, Florida. Scored in that 2-0 victory against William & Mary. Be a throw for the Tigers. You and I both worked that Fairfield Iona match, and Fairfield, they must be really pleased for the fact that they were able to take off their starting 11 at halftime, leading 6-1. That's why the usual starting unit have been able to see out the majority of this first half here. That ball squared across only to the feet of Allie Kirby. It's not easy when you have to play 3 matches in 8 days, Allie, but Fairfield seemed to have handled it all right to start.
Yeah, Princeton, I mean, you could see some girls, need that switch off, that sub off, just because of how many games they've played in this short period of time. But, I mean, they've put in the work. They're ready for it. It's a test, and so far they've stepped up to the plate.
Princeton now on the attack with Lily Bryant. Patton nearly played through Bollier. Erickson just clears it away. That's not a bad area, actually, asking Theriault to go chase, but Marcassini will go home. Stay with us at halftime as well. Much to get through. We'll look around what's happening across the rest of the MAC. There's a couple of MAC Ivy matches happening here on this Wednesday night. Look ahead for both teams and much more, so stay with us here on ESPN+. Good cut out there once again by Erickson. Probably for me, Sammy Erickson, player of the match for Fairfield. Hasn't really put too many steps wrong.
Yeah, she's doing all the little things. She's checking her shoulders. She's making those runs. She's stepping up when she needs to step up. And those little things are game changers in a game like this.
She was operating on the same side that Heather McNabb was. Player that can not only drive forward on her own, but can pick apart a few crosses. Heather actually doing a job at left back right now. Is Erickson able to skip by and takes on McNabb, but Heather recovers well enough. That's a foul, though, on Erickson. Almost baller player, but not both. And it's going to be back over to the Tigers. Shots even at 5-a-side. Katie Wright making a couple of saves for Fairfield. One shot also cleared off the line. That was by the Stags' Caroline Kelly off Alexandra Berry's effort, though McCamey being put under some pressure from Theriault. That's really well done, though, from Princeton. Better recovery, though, from Claremont. Ryan Brown. Now McNabb. She's got Bryant, but elects to go over the top. Good communication, though, by Kelly.
With less than 5 minutes left, you think both teams are just gonna want to play a little bit smarter. They don't want to make any silly mistakes here with, like I said, less than 5 minutes. They just want to see it through to the half, 0-0, restart, recenter themselves, and take on the second half.
Now Theriault, though, not able to keep her line. Might have been in if she was onside. Bryant, Ivy League honorable mention in 2022. or excuse me, in last year. She was a first teamer in 22. Over the top of Carragher once again to intervene. And again, I like that from Erickson. Thought about hitting the long ball instead keeping it through the lines. A really confident step from Kendall Patton. Very experienced player. Cook, be able to get there first. She gets pushed from behind. That's another little mental mistake right there from Princeton. It allows Fairfield to get players forward.
Yeah, that's a difficult foul to give up, especially right now. This is a ball in a range that is easily put inside the box. It can be a scramble. Princeton has to be dialed in, staying goal side, marking their players, and being tough in the box.
And Megan Carragher, the junior from Middletown, New Jersey, will step over this. She's got a few assists off set pieces already this season. It was against Bryan, actually, where she was right around this area, floated it right to the head of Reagan Klarman, who nodded it past the keeper. It's a driven ball to the penalty spot. Had a lot behind it. Well defended. Cook recovers. Able to bypass two defenders and earns her team a throw. Fairfield will bring Ferial out, give her a little bit of a respite. Caroline Kelly will launch this into the box. Now, funny enough, Allie Kirby for Fairfield does have a bit of a long throw on her. Fairfield haven't really used it all that much this season, electing to keep her back at that central defensive holding midfield role.
You wouldn't think, JJ, in a game of soccer how important throw-ins are, but they can be a huge component to a team's game, especially like you said, if they have a long throw and they can get it inside the box and just start an attack with it.
It's a great point. It's now become part of the modern game to have set piece coaches. I mean, believe it was Liverpool a few years ago that they brought in a throw-in coach. It's almost kind of taking the mentality of, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches, running back coaches that you see in American football, but that specialist group, that's really become a big thing now. I mean, international football, play for national teams, that's really the only thing that you can control is your set pieces. As we're into the final minute here and a break on the opposite flank. Toomey. That cleared away by Kirby.
Princeton trying to get one final go at it before halftime here.
This is where you talk about limiting the mistakes, just staying locked in for these final few seconds. You bet if you offered Fairfield 0-0 at halftime, they'd take that in a heartbeat. Obviously with the form there, and they feel like they could have gotten something from the first half, but not trailing. That would be step one. Marcassini. This channel well sought to, though. That's again by Erickson as Allie Murphy was in the area. Bollier. Back to McNabb. Toomey. Now Brown will just launch this forward. And that's going to do it for this first half. Allie Auger, again, if you're Fairfield, you would a handshake, take that in the back pocket, go in at level at halftime. Both teams had chances. Princeton probably dominated the middle portion of it, but the host found their way back.
Yeah, and they found themselves in the game. They weren't just being walked on by Princeton. They slowly got into the rhythm of play. They were starting to find feet, find those runners. Fairfield playing the game that they had been playing.
But we will step aside. We'll be back in a little bit. Very fascinating match here on this Wednesday evening between Princeton and Fairfield. Stay with us. Player that every coach that we've talked to said that she has pro potential. I think that's accurate statements. And what Dave Barrett's saying before the season, going even further, he said we've hardly seen her scratch the surface of her potential. It's a scary thing when a player just in her junior year has already scored 23 goals. We like to see Maddie spin defenders. How can she find more ways to get engaged with the ball coming to her feet?
I think it's checking down towards her mids, towards her backs to just try and play through the lines instead of so direct because Princeton's defense is on lockdown right now.
You're looking at Dave Barrett right now in his 7th season at the helm of Fairfield Women's Soccer. Has led this team to a pair of MAC championship games, one last season, 1-0 loss to Quinnipiac, and then in 2019 a loss to Monmouth. There have been some signature moments, a couple of impressive victories under his time. Northeastern a couple of years ago at home, that was certainly one of them, but it would be another level if his team can get a result against a NCAA tournament team from a year ago that got to the second round. In previous years, perhaps the scoreline might have been a bit different, but we're talking about that confidence that the hosts have. It's certainly showing. There is Coach Driscoll in the middle of your picture, just 3 wins away from 100 in just 9 seasons at Princeton, the 3-time Ivy Coach of the Year. And he was the associate head coach under Jim O'Brien between 2010 through 2014. Nearly led the team to a couple of MAC championships. Regular season champ in 2012. Got to the final in 2014. Lost on penalties to Ryder.
Yeah, Sean's success at Princeton doesn't surprise me. I had the opportunity during club to work with Sean, and it was definitely a great opportunity just learning from him tactically and technically. He is a great coach and well respected.
Yeah, he's a student of the game, that's for certain. Chatting with him before the match, and he was giving us the insights on just different ways to break down the Fairfield defense and then the expected looks that he expects. But he also knew that this would be a great test for his team, especially right before Ivy League action. This is your final dress rehearsal if you're Princeton. In fact, it's the final call of that dress rehearsal because there's only 45 minutes left before it's a trip up to Ithaca, New York next Saturday to take on Cornell. Fairfield in the red jersey. Maybe that might inspire Princeton a little bit, seeing red in their next match. They're going from right to left on your screen. Princeton in the white jerseys from left to right. And it's a free kick. An opportunity for Princeton to get forward here. We saw Fairfield generate a couple of set pieces in the final 6 minutes of the first half. Ultimately didn't amount to anything, but it's going to be Heather McNabb who will put the ball down. McNabb, who enters this evening's proceedings with 18 career assists and now 62 matches for the Tigers, has Kayla Wong short and 5 players in the area. It's not a bad ball to the back post, but Wright comfortably takes the header from Alexandra Berry. That should be Wright's 3rd save of the evening. You see, though, what McNabb does, and in fact, helping her team win possession. McNabb, looking for an option, goes down the channel towards Wong. Teasing ball to the back post. It got all the way through. Drew Koomans was right there. Might have been put off slightly by the misheader from Caroline Kelly. Well, Princeton coming out with a sense of urgency to begin this second half. Kelsey Wozniak, she goes back to Ryan Brown. Wozniak started the last match for Princeton, but coming off the bench here this evening. Wong. Now to the feet of Lily Bryan. Trying to slide that through. It's an excellent ball, but Wright able to make the save. Spills, still loose. And now a foul that's whistled on Princeton's Alexandra Berry. Utilizing that entire 15 minutes in the locker room, message has been received.
Certainly, JJ, you got to wonder what the message was because Princeton has come out ready and on fire right now.
Yeah, he did tell us before that he says he's impatient at times. He wants his teams to be aggressive and set the tone immediately. Princeton did, but it took about 6-7 minutes to do so in the first half. They didn't need to get a second invitation because they took it right from Fairfield to start this second half. This is over the top, looking for Theriault. McCamey has stayed on our line and now comes out to collect. That's one of the first times that we've really seen Fairfield get a ball over the top, a bit more centrally looking for Theriault. Previously, it was more angular crosses, trying to play really deep into the channels. Koumans now has a bit of space. Koumans, oh, it's well timed there. Caroline Kelly, once again. She and Sammy Erickson have done really well, the two outside backs for Fairfield. Kersey likes to switch it wide. Now, this is where Elle Scott wants the ball here. Going to go one-on-one against Kelsey Wozniak. Scott looking to go in line. Does so, drags across back, looking for Ashlyn Walsh. Cleared away. Now, all of a sudden here, both teams showing exactly the type of soccer that they want to play here in the second half. Fairfield perhaps doing a little bit of countering. Patton to the feet of Scott once again. Scott just rifles it across, looking at the referee as her jersey was being tugged back by Wozniak. No whistle. McNabb, a bit more centrally now. That's not a bad ball with the right foot. That should get there, and it does. Good covering, though, by Erickson. Has to go wide to concede the throw. But once again, sensible defending from the veteran outside back.
Yeah, crucial not to give up a corner kick right then and there. We saw earlier in just the 5 minutes, Princeton was definitely a threat on that first corner kick that we saw.
McNabb will take the throw. Barry trying to hold it up. This is really where Princeton missed Pietra Torden. Last year, 12 goals, had 8 points in Ivy League play. The Ivy Rookie of the Year in 2022. Third-team All-American last year. And Sean Driscoll saying, in his opinion, the best forward in the country. Hard to argue otherwise. Torden with the U.S. under-20 scoring a hat trick against Paraguay in the group stage. The first hat trick in the under-20s for the U.S. since Savannah DeMello did it in 2018. DeMello, who went on to represent the U.S. in the World Cup last year. Oh, it's a bit of a heavy touch there. Great recovery, though, by Zoe Marcassini. Oh, it's a slip. Now, it's interesting. Princeton, like Fairfield, play on a grass surface. But as we start to get towards the fall, officially, which is on Sunday, by the way. Yes, it is still summer for a few days. But as it starts to get cooler and cooler and you play more night games, grass fields tend to get a bit slick. Players we've seen already starting to slip a few times. Is it a myth, by the way, Allie? Have to ask you as a former player. Do players truly adjust the footwear at half times if they're having issues?
Some certainly do. Others don't have to adjust at halftime. They adjust before the game, after stepping on the field, warming up, realizing, studs might be the best option for them. It's not unheard of. I personally don't. I never worn studs. I stick to my regular cleats, and I just make sure I, was focused in on my foot placement.
Patton able to clear that away. You just always hear commentators, especially overseas, and saying, well, they're going to be changing their footwear at halftime. Does it really happen? Okay, so a little bit of the curtain pulled back as Theriault, good strength. Walsh, now Klarman, intercepted by Brown. Now, Fairfield want to be persistent playing over the top. They need to win a few more of those second phase balls. Kersey doing that a couple of times. Scott. That's good tracking back, though. Now a chance for the visitors to break. Into the channel for Koumans. Kelly read that well and goes home with Wright.
I'd love to see Fairfield and or Princeton just settle down a little bit more, start to play 2 feet instead of just this kick and run sort of game, which both Fairfield and Princeton have resorted to for much of this game.
I feel like that's actually something that benefits Fairfield in the long run because Princeton, they can play direct with a purpose. Fairfield know that especially in some league matches, you never want to look past an opponent, but that's sometimes all they need on a given day is just to utilize their athleticism. Fairfield certainly happy to have that kick and run approach. Not a great clearance from Fairfield. It goes back to Marcassini. Reverses it out wide. McNabb. It's a confident carry forward, but then concedes possession to Sam Kersey. And again, Scott will just look to drive. Has Fairfield off to her right. Might have been the better option as that's intercepted by Ryan Brown. Able to link up with Koumans, who will now try her run. She's got an overlap. Squares it instead to Barry. Flag stays down, but lashes at it wide.
She took a heavy touch outside the post, if we see a replay here, and that outside the post touch kind of forces her to take a shot that is outside the post.
Yeah, I thought actually Koumans was going to go to the overlap. Barry just getting that one all wrong, and you see, yep, knew it immediately. Interesting one we're just hearing right now. Fairfield preparing Maddie Theriault to come off the field. Even 10 minutes into the start of the second half, Alex Darcy is coming on. Clearly Dave Barrett seeing something that needs to use Darcy maybe as that target striker. That's a poor giveaway though. Barry now in advanced position. Holds this back. Carragher, though, good recovery, had to give up a few steps. Got away with it. Now Kersey able to round the defender. Has options to either side. Goes with Theriault. That's a foul. It's a free kick on Princeton, on McNabb. Everyone looking bemused at the assistant. That's Wilmer Melendez over there. Guess a bit of shirt grabbing, if nothing else.
That's a tough foul to give up, especially with a shirt tug when Princeton had numbers behind the ball. There was no need for any foul to be given there.
Even more ironic, Fairfield can't make the sub on a free kick, so Maddie Theriault can stay forward now. And this would definitely be a target for Megan Carragher, who had a free kick in this similar range at the end of the first half. Set pieces usually is where you can find the difference maker. Carragher has distributed plenty of those throughout her career. It's a driven ball across, nearly went all the way through, a towering header to clear it away. What Carragher does, she puts so much power behind that you don't need to add any if you're player winning a header. Just direct it on goal. Here comes that change as Alex Darcy replaces Maddie Theriault. There is a long talking to. This is off your picture right now between Dave Barrett and Maddie Theriault. This is not an easy game for her. She had a bit of a tough go of it against Texas A&M early part of the season where defenders using just smart IQ, forcing her to go to corners, which Theriault likes to take defenders one-on-one. I feel like if Dave Barrett was telling us earlier this season that the evolution of our game is still growing, that's probably part of where the game has to improve. Effective at times, no doubt. But Princeton have done well to keep her quiet.
It's definitely a little slippery out there, JJ. This is the third player now who has lost their footing and their traction, which, I mean, the ball's going to be slipping a little bit extra, which means putting that ball on the ground through the box at the goalkeeper to just see if mistakes can be had.
Oh, you would definitely claim this the worst nightmare for keeper, keeping it low. This ball played through to Darcy, but she was a fraction offside. It just makes the surface slightly greasy. I wouldn't be surprised. You might hear coaches start to say, if you have any space, top of the box, have one. You never know. There's another slip. Usually called the turf monster, but we're on grass. Grass monster just does not sound the same. As a Manchester United fan, this would be the right time to drop a John Terry slip moment, but I haven't had that much glory. 7-0, but against Barnsley on Tuesday. Nothing really to jump about there. In the Carabao Cup. A good interception once again by Klarman. Just another very effective game for Reagan. Maybe not so much on the offensive side for her, but she's really, amongst a number of Fairfield players, they've done their defensive duties.
Yeah, I think defense on both sides, Princeton and Fairfield, have been the star here. They really haven't let up a lot of opportunities for the offense, and the opportunities that they have given up, they haven't been too much of a threat.
It's really hard to determine a team that would have the edge in this one. Maybe Princeton slightly on the chances that they've generated, but it really came in just that one sequence of 15, 20 minutes. Fairfield had the better of it to start and finish the half. Princeton trying to get on the ascendancy here as we hit the hour mark. Kelsey Wozniak throw, looking for Barry. Awkward clearance for Carragher. No foul as well. What a tackle from Kersey. Absolutely coming right through Lily Bryant, but cleanly in the eyes of the official. Well dealt with, though, by Marcassini. Not allowing Scott to get in behind. McNabb out wide. Bit of a driving run here. Ball squared across, but again, cut away by Fairfield. Kayla Wong, sophomore from Manalapan, New Jersey. Gets this out to Drew Coomans. Coomans end line, squares it across, but it was cut away by Kendall Patton. And now Fairfield are penned in just a little bit here in the last 90 seconds.
I like to see Princeton recycling the ball. They couldn't find anything on the right side, come back to the 6, and now they're out on the left side flank, just trying to move the Fairfield players.
As McNabb now getting herself end line, skips past a defender, has 2 inside the area, looking for Barry. That goes all the way through to Coomans, left open to the back coast. Coomans onto the left foot, well tackled. That was Alex Darcy, the target striker, dropping back to make the defensive intervention. Carragher just safety first. And here is that last tackle by Alex Darcy. Who says forwards can't defend? That was outstanding. And that's right in front of the official.
Yeah, clear call there.
And Fairfield needed that one. Now a chance just to reset. Certainly a decision that Dave Barrett made. As I was about to say, taking Maddie Theriault off the field. It's been all Princeton since then, but Theriault has now just gone back to the scorers table. The women's game still in college soccer. You're allowed the re-entry in the second half. More on that a second here, as that's covered by Kendall Patton. Still on, though. Bryant, top of the area, slides it through. Coomans is onside. Oh, what a save by Wright. Rebound over the bar.
It's a great save by Wright. Coming off her line, staying central.
Everything done well here. Bryant, the gaping goal, just not able to put it on. But that's that first moment. You feel like in these sorts of matches, especially Fairfield, albeit the better record, a little bit of the underdog, though. Feel like on another day that one is put away and Princeton finally have their breakthrough. Defensive resilience keeps it scoreless.
Princeton, though, is knocking on that door. I have a feeling they're not going away anytime soon. Fairfield needs to stay dialed in defensively and try and create opportunities playing through the lines.
will be a Princeton throw. So Maddie Theriault came back onto the field after that stoppage. I was about to say that, unlike the men's college game, where if you come out in either half, you're done for that respective half. You're still allowed the re-entry in the second. So Theriault getting basically the 10 minutes, take a breather, now go back on. Couple of changes for Princeton as well. Brooke Dawhare onto the field once again. Also, Sophia Kurisu, wears 17, on the field for the first time. Yeah, Fairfield really backed into a corner right now. It's been all Princeton the last 5 to 10 minutes. Ivanovic squares it back. McNabb trying to have Bryant turn, skips past the defender, squares it across, but it goes by everybody. Well, you hit that perfectly, Allie. It's now really back to the wall for Fairfield. Princeton are just moments away from getting the opener. Just past the lunge of Barry. Gets a toe to that one. It's probably in the back of the net. Bryant, though, gets past another one, but wastes that effort.
Fairfield now an opportunity to settle into the game, hopefully with this goal kick, start to play the way they want to play instead of letting Princeton dictate the game.
So it's interesting that Fairfield, again, trying to play out of the back here, especially after Princeton having so much time on the ball. Just give your defensive respite and play long. Screaming for it is Kurisu. But again, that's wasteful.
Right, laying on that save. She doesn't want to make any mistakes in this 0-0 game. After making a couple huge saves, she just wants everything to be clean tonight.
Princeton all 5 shots in the second half. They are shooting Fairfield 10-5. That will go out. A throw for Princeton right on the halfway line. Again, not waiting around here. Barry looking for an outlet. Little reverse ball down the line, but it's wasteful. And Klarman, this is where you have to find feet if you're Klarman. Can't just resort to the long ball. That's good. Now to Kersey. Can she complete the move? Yes, she can. Now Fairfield can break. In fact, if nothing else, that's good composure right there. Force Princeton to do a bit of the running instead of looking to hit for the counter. Kelly. Really high line that Princeton are playing as well. They're able to find a ball down this channel to Darcy. Flag stays down. Ball across, headed away. It'll be cut out by Kersey. Sam Kersey. Back to Darcy. The flag now comes up for offside. That was a really delayed whistle, or a delayed flag, I should say. But Fairfield offside for the 4th time in this match.
Yeah, we've had plenty of offsides, both on Princeton and Fairfield's side. They just need to hold their runs, watch their line, because they're missing great opportunities.
Just about the halfway mark here of this second half. That was Fairfield's really first foray forward in quite a while. It's a big ball over the top here. Wright stayed home, however, so Carragher just had to clear it away. As Drew Koomans has now moved over to that left flank with Sophia Kurisu on. Princeton will play quickly. Heather McNabb. She goes down. It's a free kick just outside the area.
Certainly dangerous. The wall's got to stay strong here. Fairfield players have to stay goal side. Every ball matters inside the box.
Yeah, this was awfully close to the penalty box. It is just outside, but only just. Now, this is an interesting one here because McNabb obviously has a great left foot. Of course, you can play this across to the back post, but I wouldn't be surprised to see her maybe try and sneak one to that near post, see if she can catch Katie Wright cheating to the back post. Usually would favor a right foot. Instead, it's clipped in. Ball goes across and it's flashed over the bar. It was Marcassini in the area, just not able to keep it on target. But again, the chances continue to keep coming now for the visitors. Zoe Marcassini the closest. Once again, Heather McNabb finding the ball that she needed and got it. Now played long over the top. This one will be headed out of play. That was by Dawhare, a Lexington, Kentucky native. So just noticing off your picture that Fairfield switching their forwards. Alex Darcy has now moved over to the left side. Maddie Theriault to the right to try and see if she can get in behind against Wozniak instead of going up against Marcassini. As at times, Zoe Marcassini, who again just came off playing for Canada at the Under-20 Women's World Cup, certainly can defend a number of different looks. So Fairfield trying to see if they can get their luck on the opposite side of the field. As we enter the 70th minute, still goalless. And this is the sixth ever meeting between these programs. Fairfield have still yet to hit the back of the net against Princeton. Throw to the feet. That's played across, but Carragher, I think she won herself a goal kick. No, that ball stay on. And now it's a goal kick.
Fairfield doing a really good job of having that second defender set. As soon as Princeton takes a heavy touch, there's another Fairfield defender right on top of them, clearing that ball out.
Yeah, Fairfield, the team sixth in the country, averaging 3.43 goals a game, but it's the defense, which is not bad in its own right, keeping their opponents around one tally per game. They've only conceded 8. Most that they gave up was 3 away to Texas A&M. But yeah, the structure has been sound tonight. But they're hoping they can have one moment of magic going forward. Good outball to the feet of Kersey. She has Theriault in this near side if she can keep her run on. Not a bad area from Kersey. Trying to hit it a little bit too finely, though. Good reaction from Wozniak. Curry Sue. Well, that's a difficult hop. Carragher had to keep the arms down. And Wright just guides it away from danger. Now, I was about to say, I didn't actually mind the angle that Kersey played. Almost tried to cross Wozniak up, but just needed more behind it.
Yeah, and you can see her pointing to exactly where she was going to play so that Theriault can make her run in. It unfortunately just held up a little bit more than she had probably hoped for.
Good interception by Kelly, who will now bombard forward. Oh, it's a good pick. Kersey, she has Theriault once again wide, and she will go wide. Maddie Theriault loves to take defenders on one-on-one. Well, she's got her moment right here. Theriault to the end line. Block behind. That was kept on, though, by Ryan Brown. And then Theriault, bit undisciplined, goes right through the defender. That's just really good defensive work by Ryan Brown and Kelsey Wozniak.
Yeah, Brown coming to clean that up to make sure that no corner was given and then drawing that foul from Fairfield.
And we spoke about it in Fairfield's last match against Iona that it's so hard when you're not doing a lot of defensive work. Different situation, but in this one here for Princeton, they're not having to defend, albeit for a few flashes, but to stay that disciplined, know the game plan, know where Theriault likes to go. They executed it. And that's just another level. This will hang up for Lily Bryant over in the corner. Has options inside the area, gets the nutmeg off. Bryant across, it's cleared away. That was by Reagan Klarman. Curry Sue once again. Going one-on-one against Kelly. Square that goes all the way through, and the effort well over by Kate Toomey.
It's a tough one-touch shot. The ball's coming in fast across her body. You would like to see maybe, can she have taken a quick 2-touch to have maybe a little bit more control over that shot?
Saw Donna Nana, Fairfield's number 11, Egyptian international. Came on a little while ago. Really haven't called her number all that much. Or some changes for both teams during that last stoppage. Get those in for you in a second as this is over the top. But Carragher, awkward clearance, does the job. At least only for the moment. Erickson trying to pin player up in the corner. It's going to be a throw. That was Daugherty. Yeah, Fairfield bringing Elle Scott and Ashlyn Walsh back onto the field, changing their forward line for Kersey and Darcy. Daugherty. And line. Ball across. Cut out. It was a needed tackle, but a good one by Allie Kirby. Haven't really called her name a lot tonight, Allie Kirby, but again has been diligent and very disciplined with her defensive role.
Yeah, that was great positioning by Kirby, getting on top of that 6 for any ball coming back for a trailing run.
We enter the final quarter hour here. Princeton outshooting Fairfield 12-5. It was 5-5 at halftime, but only 5 shots on target. Curry Sue looking for that little slip ball, but Fairfield again get numbers behind it. Daugherty. That shot blocked. Might have another one here. Just waits though for a moment. Curry Sue onto the left foot. Bryant goes back. McNabb. Marcassini again with McNabb. Just trying to find that little killer slip ball. It's not on. Gets it out wide though. Back post ball, not a bad area, but just goes by Daugherty. Now for a goal kick.
Since that little stint of the 1 or 2 really good opportunities Princeton's had, we haven't really seen much of that. They've possessed a lot of the ball, especially in Fairfield's half, but it hasn't turned into much. I think they have to start being clinical in that final third, making that final pass and getting a shot on net.
And you feel like the way you said it early on, how about that from Kendall Patton? Princeton has been so close now to getting that killer first blow. You feel like one goal might be the only one. Fairfield just need to find any sort of an outlet. This is played through, but Wright able to be there in time ahead of Alexandra Berry. Can understand, though, why Alexandra Berry, a highly sought-after recruit, played at PDA Blue in the ECNL, ranked the 4th top player in the state of New Jersey. As the flag has stayed down here. It's Donna Nada through on goal. A little against the run of play, but right at McCamey. Well, Fairfield, all of a sudden, they might have had the best chance of the match, but Nada puts it right at the goalie. Maybe now perhaps a wake-up call for Princeton, knowing that still at this 0-0 scoreline, it could just be that one moment. Tyler McCamey, by the way, that's her first save of the night. Walsh. Wow, that's a dangerous ball, but Kirby does well to get away with it. Wozniak can go back home.
Fairfield letting McCamey play, letting their defense have the ball, and waiting for a line of attack for Fairfield.
Yeah, this is actually one of the first times the Stags have been able to properly set up in a bit of a counter press in this second half. Ashlyn Walsh and Donna Nada doing the running. McNabb able to get it down the line. Lovely back heel. McNabb able to start something here through the middle. That ball gets out to Bryant. Difficult one for her to bring down, but controls it. But Fairfield, because of that awkward bounce, recovers at least for a moment. Bryant, though, had that one teed up. And, well, I'm not sure if Katie Wright knew that she had that one covered. It looked like she stumbled for a moment, but it is out for a goal kick. I'm going to claim stumble because you saw just a big clump of mud come out from underneath her cleats.
She looked, though, like she pulled her hands back a little bit, so I think she had a good idea of where she was in the frame of net and knew that was going wide, and good on her to not get a touch and give away an unnecessary corner kick.
A goalie giving love to a goalie. That is part of the GK union.
Always.
Always. The referee asked for Wright to restart that. I believe Maddie Theriault just gone back off. All right, so Maddie Theriault subbed off for the second time in the second half, so she is done for this match. This ball is played over the top. Elle Scott is in here. McCamey off of her line. Scott goes past the keeper, and she scores! Cometh the hour. Cometh Elle Scott. It's Fairfield 1, Princeton 0. And it's a little against the run of play, but I don't think Fairfield's going to mind one bit.
No, what a ball in. Took her chance, kept running. McCaney comes out but couldn't get much on it.
What a finish, by the way, from Scott with two defenders on her back. But there's a reason why Fairfield relies on the grad student from Ashby, Massachusetts. That is career goal number 23. That puts her level with Maddie Theriault. And now Fairfield, the first time they've ever scored against Princeton in program history. A team who doesn't lose many games against non-conference opponents at home. Now they have a lead to defend with only 10 minutes to go.
Fairfield just has to focus in. Look at this play.
What a finish.
They want to make this play worth it. They have to stay dialed in for the last 10 minutes of the game, not making any silly mistakes, playing smart, not really taking as many risks. And then Princeton on the other side has to take those risks. They have come back from a deficit, so don't count Princeton out just yet. I'm interested to see how they do and how they turn this around.
There's a free kick now for Princeton. They'll play quickly now with Marcassini. You bet now the urgency is really going to step up a bit more as that one is just cleared away. Marcassini flying it through and now goes back to Sam Kersey, who just returned to the field. Now Fairfield might think that they could get a second one here. Darcy goes out wide to Ashlyn Walsh. She's got the full field switch, though, goes right into a Princeton player, and it goes back home to McCamey. All over the top, not a bad area, looking for Allie Murphy to run on it, though once again, Kendall Patton able to recover well. Just cleared away to safety. And here we'll do right now for Patton. Princeton will make some subs here. I spoke about Dave Barrett during the time that he's been here. Fairfield has had some important victories, whether in league or non-conference play. This certainly would be a watermark moment if his group can hold out here for the final 8:40. Ball to the end line, cleared away, at least for the moment. Players are stacking up inside the box for Princeton. Dawhair, nice drop of the shoulder. Shot just goes wide. Whistled wide of the mark from Brooke Dawhair, but it stays 1-0.
I have a feeling we're going to start seeing a lot more shots out of Princeton. They know it's necessary. They have to start taking those risks, getting shots on goal.
You talk about the home dominance for Fairfield under Dave Barrett. This is what is at stake when Fairfield gets a lead at home. They hardly lose games, especially in non-conference games. In fact, Dave Barrett's Fairfield teams did not lose a non-conference home game from 2018 through 2022 in the first part of the 23 season. So this is what Princeton now have to do to fight back in this game. It's Elle Scott right now. That is currently the winner in the 80th minute off Ashlyn Walsh. By the way, if that goal holds up, Ashlyn Walsh would have scored the winner or assisted the winner in three of Fairfield's 7 victories. Not a bad start to your first year, but Allie Murphy pings that ball across, takes a deflection, goes behind for a corner.
Princeton had a lot of success first half with their corners to the front post. I'm curious if they continue to do that or just send it long into that back post, hoping to get a header on it.
Well, it's going to be Heather McNabb to take this. Again, had 2 assists in the 2-1 victory to Drexel back on September the 12th. Both came off dead balls, albeit both were free kicks, but still, this is a player that can ping across. This one to the back post goes all the way through, and it's going to be out for a goal kick. Well, it was a ball over the top from Walsh to unlock Elle Scott. And Princeton, without Pietra Torden, will play for the bronze medal match at the Under-20 Women's World Cup for the U.S. A continental way right now. Trying to see if now Princeton can find a way to get a result. Otherwise, they'd be going into Ivy play, losing 2 on the bounce. Good recover by Wozniak. Kylie Hamu is now dropped into kind of an emergency center back situation. Marcassini has gone up into the midfield for Princeton. That ball just thundered away. Well done there by Kersey to fight for it. I was about to say, when you want to blow the whistle, ref.
Yeah, it took him a little bit.
Right in front of his eyes, but now Heather McNabb, another set piece. And she'll take it quickly. Goes down the line. Ball sent across, but the effort is wide. That was Kayla Wong just not able to turn that on goal.
Difficult to get her foot around the ball there. She was a little bit outside that front post, so couldn't just turn her hips enough to get that below the crossbar.
Also, interestingly enough, with the new rules for substitution, college soccer used to be the last 5 minutes the clock would stop if a team made a change, especially with the one leading. It's now the last 15 minutes, so the clock's stopping no matter what. If Fairfield wants to change their 11 up, likely going to be the team that Dave Barrett will see out the remaining 5 minutes. But it's going to be everything forward now for the Tigers. Wozniak. Hamu. Well, Scott, the goal scorer, putting in a shift there defensively, knocking that out. As I say that, I think Coach Barrett is preparing Donna Nada to come back onto the field. If he makes a change, the clock would stop. That's a lovely cushion ball. Marcassini trying to thread it through. It's a needed intervention by Kendall Patton. What a match she has had today. Patton alongside Megan Carragher at center back have hardly put a foot wrong. McNabb trying to get it onto her foot. So it goes back to Wong. Hamu back to Ryan Brown. Wong able to turn. Now with Allie Murphy. Chance to drive one-on-one against Kelly. Shot blocked down. Finds Marcassini, but the flag came up.
Fairfield's just going to take their time, try and dwindle that clock down as much as possible, give themselves an even greater chance of winning this game.
And the winner as it stands in the 80th minute, a ball over the top from Ashlyn Walsh, unlocked Elle Scott, who played it around Tyler McCamey, and then with two defenders on her, was able to slide it home. And that's exactly where Fairfield wants the ball right now. In fact, Scott's not going to give up on it. McCamey will just clear her lines. But Fairfield will happily take the throw. The change does come here. I'd almost say a horrible break for Fairfield, but they want Nada on this situation. They're going to replace Alex Darcy, almost sacrificing a forward for a midfielder.
Yeah, and you got to think, JJ, with 3 minutes left, they're just going to try and get to the corner, box out Princeton, not giving them a chance.
The throw right in front of the Fairfield bench is about 30 referees asking for it to go the other way. They do not wear the neon yellow jersey. Well defended by Klarman. McNabb. Safety first if you're patting there. And you can bet no Fairfield fan will be in a hurry to try and go get that ball, which is why there's ball persons to help it back in. A lovely little link up. Again, defended well. It's Sydney Corbett. Able to see that away. Squared across and cleared by Nada. That was what she needed to do in that situation, why she's brought on the last couple of minutes. Carragher again, safety first. Princeton, everything forward here. And again, well done by Scott. Under 2 minutes to play. That's a bit of a slack pass, and Scott bats it forward. Dawhair looking for an outlet, goes wide. That's a cheap giveaway, and Scott, I don't think she realized it. Probably how locked in she is right now, just lumped the ball forward. Does allow Fairfield to get up the field. A good header away. Walsh looking for any option, but dribbles it right to the feet of the Tigers. But look at Nada. Just hustling and hurrying everybody with the ball. Marcassini has to go forward here as we're entering the 90th minute. Murphy has stayed on side, cleared away by Kelly. We are now in the 90th minute. Throw taken short, and Kirby anywhere will do, and that's an area you want it to go. You can hear some of the Fairfield fans. They're on basically at this rope right in front of us. Again, a Fairfield team in 5 previous games against Princeton not only didn't get a result, they hadn't scored a goal.
Kelly taking her time on this throw-in. Clock less than 30 seconds. This might be Princeton's last opportunity if she can get there.
And Corbett will just wait until the last moment before pumping it forward. One more by Klarman. That will do it. It goes forward. But Fairfield, for the first time in program history, are going to take down Princeton. An 80th minute goal from Elle Scott, the lone tally in this one. And that's not a bad way to wrap up your non-conference slate. Fairfield extends their win streak to 5 consecutive. And you could see what it means to this group. This is a Fairfield team that had come close in the past to some of the big teams. They did knock off the likes of Northeastern and UMass before. But Princeton, a team that regularly features in the last 64 of the NCAA tournament, they're the ones that stand on top.
Yeah, Princeton's got to be upset with this result. I mean, they had majority of possession. They had the better opportunities. But when push comes to shove, Fairfield having that one opportunity by Elle Scott, she put it away. Fairfield doing well to maintain that shutout, especially after their past 2 games where they did give up that one lone goal.
It will most certainly take the shutout, no doubt about it. In fact, I saw off to our left, Reagan Klarman in the celebrations picked up a little bit of a cramp, but it's a happy one as Fairfield knock off Princeton for the first time in program history. Katie Wright making 4 saves in the winning effort. Elle Scott the winner in this one as the Stags improve to 7-1 overall and Princeton fall to 4-3. For our entire team, for Ali Auger, I'm JJ Duke saying so long, enjoy the rest of your night. Fairfield knock off the Ivy League, well, almost perennial favorites in Princeton by the narrowest of margins. So they defend Lessing Field once again.